Good morning. It is 9 a.m. on Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. And this is the monthly meeting of the Lakeville Library Board of Trustees. I'm Ruth Gross, Trustee Chair. This is Jennifer Jones, our Library Director, Nancy LaFave, and Patrick Marshall, who are also trustees. And the meeting is called to order. We are being recorded by John Cronin of Lake Cam. Thank you, John. First on the agenda is the Secretary's report. Everyone has a copy. If you have read it, I will entertain a motion to skip the reading and approve or discuss.
I will move that we do that.
Second. Okay. Those in favor of skipping the reading and approving the minutes as written?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we'll go on. Moving right along. Next is our financial, which is gifts and our financial report for the month.
So we're doing okay in terms of our spending on books, audio, and video. Video I'm trying to work on a little bit harder on getting that spent. We're currently at 19.1% spent. Water, again, we're overspent, and the new bill just came in at $1,300, so another high bill.
Is it more than what is actually printed because it came in later?
So yeah, it
So
just came in.
Okay.
So I haven't put it into here, so
So
it'll be another.
I thought everything was set.
100 over. It apparently was not during the summer. So I know that we are getting the well, so that will factor into next year's budget, but we shouldn't have this expenditure again once the well is completed, and I can talk to Frank and Paul about a timeline for that. However, it looks like they had some issues again with irrigation, and when they said that we were not on
Be
the
interesting
town
to
water
know.
or the city water, I think we were.
Oh, obviously.
At
Be interesting to see after
384%.
all the excavation is done, whether not this side but the other side is compromised.
Right.
I think they tried really hard not to cut water irrigation lines, but we won't know until.
I think we need to do it, and I haven't gotten out there yet, but do a look around the whole system and see if I can locate them.
Yeah, because there seems to be some missing ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try to loop Paul in for that.
It's been shut off for the season though, now, right?
I
Or
don't know
not.
that they've come to shut it off yet.
October
I haven't
15th
seen
usually
them.
is when it's been shut off, and May 15th is when it's been turned on, so.
I think they're going later this year because it's been so dry.
We would have
Because we
brown grass.
usually get a call for hours, and we haven't heard from them yet.
Well, now, does the highway department or does someone else come in?
Highway department.
Highway department
Oh,
does
highway
it yours now.
department.
DPW does it.
We don't
Um,
have a power anymore.
And then the waterfall was done, so that group came out and shut down the waterfall.
So that's shut off now?
Yes.
Okay. So that people won't think that somebody's stealing our pumps,
No.
that the waterfall just is shut off for the season.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I did, if you'll note on the second page, I did have a meeting with Todd and Erica about the trust funds that are available to us. So you'll see the Savas money, that is the expendable part of the Savas trust fund. So,
The 49,
yes.
178? Okay.
Yep.
Is that earmarked for
Children's,
children's program?
yeah, children's programming.
Only programming, not
I think it's just children's services.
children? So if we
From
wanted
what
to
I
make
read.
structural changes?
Yeah, I think you could use some.
Or rearranging or
Yeah.
whatever over there, okay.
And then in the library gifts, we have the gift from the Chase family.
Yeah.
Is that reflected
yes,
in that one?
that's in
Okay.
there. Yeah. And as far as gifts go, there was one extra last month from the Plymouth County Collectors and Treasurers Association that came in after the meeting. So we donated $100 They're using the meeting room.
That's very
That's
nice.
good.
Would they like to use it again?
They probably will. They've been here before, so I imagine they will. So it's mostly just, that's the new one. I just keep adding on and
Does the Brotherhood of Shoe and Allied Craftsmen make a monthly donation, or just
so they
June and September
meet quarterly,
quarterly? Okay.
and I think they make a donation just about every time they meet. So
And it's here?
yeah, they meet in one of the small study rooms.
Great.
Who knew there was a Brotherhood of Shoe and Allied Craftsmen? How
I
fortunate
sent
we
a
are.
Thank you to New Bedford. So their PO boxes in New Bedford.
Wow. Okay. Anything else? On financial tips? None? Okay. All right, moving right along. Friends of the Lakeville Library. No, Building
No.
and Grounds. Oh, I'm sorry.
Director.
Director's report. Moving
We
on.
really, really are moving along.
Yeah, I know. Did you see how I worked that? Okay, director's report. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so I did send out the trials. We'll start with collections. Sent out the trials for Mango, Auto Repair, Small Engine Repair, and Creative Bug to patrons, to users who are interested. I asked for people to volunteer in a newsletter, e-blast, and I got a few volunteers. So there's been a lot of interest in Mango, which is the most expensive of the group.
But of course.
Is that like a,
Language learning.
yeah.
So what they gave us access to in the trial was not only their main product for adults and teen use, I'd say. They have one called Little Pim, which is for children's, and then they also have a separate American Sign Language learning
Wow.
portion. So I do have totals. Let me find them here. For all three modules, it was over $2,000. $2,350 to get all three products with a 15% discount. Subscription to Mango would be $1,600. Subscription to ASL or Little Pim, $500 each. So it is the most expensive option out of all of those things. We
Right.
already do have Transparent from the state too, that we have access to as a statewide database, but Mango has got a very nice interface that I think people like.
It is a well done. We used to have it in a different library that I was at that people liked it better than Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a comparison to Rosetta Stone. Are there others that might do the same thing but be less expensive?
Transparent we get for free, so
And
that's
so,
the same thing.
is that ever used?
I don't know that it's used a lot here. I'll have to check at the statistics and see if it is. But
That's every language?
I've been trying to, well, I can compare the list of what Mango has versus Transparent. And they tend to be mostly the same with a few exceptions of unusual languages. One might
Mango
have
does
Irish.
have pirate
Yeah.
for Speak Like a Pirate Day.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a whole different ballgame.
I mean, it's like Irish Gaelic versus Scottish Gaelic or like different dialects.
It has that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Mango has Scottish, I think. Transparent, I think, had Irish Gaelic. But, I mean,
But do
They're
they have the
comparable.
ones that people want? English, Spanish, Portuguese,
one of the
possibly Italian, Mandarin.
yeah, one of the people testing actually said he uses Arabic or has a need for Arabic at work, so was testing the Arabic.
Oh,
Oh, good.
and did he like the Arabic?
He did. He said it was easy to use. So I think so far the reactions I've got has been that it's pretty easy to use. I haven't got as many responses for auto repair. Just one person said they really liked it. And then in terms of Creative Bug, I've had some interest, but I only just secured a trial for them. So a couple people have said they'd be interested in it.
Is
That one,
like craft.
crafting database, yeah.
Okay.
So it's got video tutorials for all kinds of craft projects, macrame, knitting, crochet, some food things. So, and also some aimed at children. So I think people were interested in it. So I wanted to kind of get some more feedback and then approach it next month and see how we do with, looking at.
Are you cold?
Not really.
Okay.
Well, with the mango, would it be possible to ask the people who responded to check out the one that's free
We
from the
could,
state?
yeah, I could say
And-
check out the transparent language. And I did put it in, somebody had got some language learning stuff from other libraries, so I stuck a sheet in there that said transparent is available. So I can do that and see if they have any preference and let them know this one's for free.
Yeah. And it's just a download, it's not,
Yeah, I'm not sure what Transparent's interface looks like if they have an app. I'll have to check on that.
It's it's not necessarily an app, but it does, once you log in to the website on your phone, it pretty much acts like an app, but it's
Okay.
not,
So
unless they've
mobile
changed it in
friendly.
the past year.
Yeah, and that's one of the Mango selling points is they have an app that they can take it to go and use in the car and.
okay.
Yeah, it can all, I mean, it does all that, the transparent, because I was using that.
And then, so I'll bring more information back next month. Youth Services Fall Story Hour started off well. She's had an average audience of 54, so that's parents and kids. So roughly
Okay.
30 kids or so in the story times, which is a lot. And it's been, an interesting challenge to keep them all engaged with so many kids in there. And Thursday afternoon sessions have had a slower start. Recently, they've had no attendance, so
Well, it's nap time.
Teresa might be considering a change. I think she lost her core group to kindergarten. So,
Oh, no.
Yeah, they age up.
so she's had some people approach her about homeschooling and doing some sort of activity for homeschooling families. So she's looking into that, and it would require planning for the new year. So she wouldn't start it right away. She'd maybe let the story time run throughout the fall and see how attendance is. Her Playing on Purpose playgroup has had good attendance. Kelly Rodriguez, who previously worked with PACE, is running the sessions with Teresa through December, and then I think Teresa's going to take over. And Kelly has generously donated her time and energy and materials. Music Time started earlier this month and will run through mid-November. It continues to be a very popular program. Local author John Morse had a good turnout for his program on Tuesday, October 8th. He talked about his book, The President's Hail Mary, which is the latest book in his Dan Steele series. We're hosting a panel this weekend from Sisters in Crime New England chapter to talk about using what you know to write a mystery. So we have Edith Maxwell, Arlene Kay, and Leslie Meyer. We've had a display out trying to promote the program, so hopefully we'll see a lot of attendance. And then Novelties has enjoyed good attendance and good titles. This month they're reading The Push by Ashley Audrain, which is a psychological drama about motherhood. So just some of the upcoming
I've already got too
programs.
much drama.
We are having family movie matinee on election day, and also young adult craft night that night, because there will be no school that day. And then One Up Games is coming for an adult program, History of Nintendo, so that's a throwback for anybody who wants to attend. November 7th, and Disney Vacation Planning with Jocelyn Martins. She's coming back on November 19th at 6:30. So we did have what should be our last outdoor pest control. Our contract ran April through October, so I did see them out last week. We should have one more scheduled interior maintenance, quarterly maintenance. I'm not sure if I'll have to check the contract to see if it was 2 or 3 visits. But the contract did run April through October, so we are up for another interior visit. DPW did so much cleanup work prior to the Arts and Music
Incredible.
Festival. It looks really wonderful. And so a thank you to them, Frank and his crew, and Jennifer.
They did do a big good thank you.
It was wonderful.
We still have to schedule the meeting with Frank about going through the big gardens and just talking about any plans and how to simplify things so less work for everybody.
Yeah, so.
So I will let you know this week what he says.
Okay, great. Upholstery cleaning was completed on Friday, October 11th, and it came in under budget.
I wonder how long it's been since we've had it cleaned.
Ever.
Well, somehow I think that at one point in time we did have it done, but it would have been early.
I think there was some spot cleaning
Olivia,
as
during
needed.
Olivia's time, it might have been.
Well, looks great.
Yeah, I like the fact that he didn't want to ruin the fabric.
Yes, yeah. There were a couple spots he couldn't get out, and he used some solvents, and he said, "I don't want to ruin the fabric, so I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
That's the best I can do." So, and he gave us a slight discount because we moved everything into the meeting room.
Oh, it was in one
So
place.
it came in at $1,200 and change.
Good.
Well, thank you.
So it was very good. Painting of the gazebo and benches is underway, so I know he's done some of the roof. And he said he did a bit of it on Friday, and I think he's got the benches still to do, so he will continue throughout as needed until he's finished. I have not yet connected with Bob McNally. I'm not sure if he's back yet. He was on an extended vacation, so I'm going to reach out to him again to see if we can get the Wi-Fi project going. And I talked to Paul. We had a patron concern about the state of the air vents. They do need a good cleaning for
Yes.
mildew and dust, and
Now,
get them nicely cleaned up.
is he going to do that, or are they going to have a company?
Well, I
come
asked
in?
him if he wants, Anthony to handle that, or if he wants to have a company, and he hasn't really given me an answer yet.
Okay.
So I'll talk to him again. Just ask him what he said. It should be fine, I think,
Wonder
for
if they could
Anthony
be
to do.
just
Knowing
take
how
them down and put
you
through a
had
dishwasher.
problems at Wareham, we would.
Yes.
We need
mold
to
can
make
become
sure
a
that when they're
problem.
clean, they
So
actually
here.
clean.
Well, it did also bring up that we should probably look at getting the ducts cleaned too. So
We should get what?
the air ducts cleaned.
Yes, yes,
So I
Not
brought that
ducts.
up
yes.
and reminded him that I sent him a couple quotes about that. So, and
Especially
then
before the heat comes on.
I know, and that's going to be like next week.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
November, right?
Yeah, maybe
It's
a
gonna
little
get
earlier,
cold on
depending
Sunday.
on
It's supposed to be
how-
getting it back into the 50s again, and people notice it because it takes longer for the building.
Yeah,
to
I was
heat up.
actually thinking I might flip the switch for the boiler on Friday because it's supposed to get pretty cold on Sunday night.
Okay.
So, and we've been topped off with oil, so we're good. Early voting's underway. They've had a steady stream. First Saturday, they said they had over 200 voters. So,
I was surprised at how busy it appeared when I got here yesterday.
For early voting?
Yeah.
Well, Saturday I came and it was there were a lot of people.
Yeah.
That was the first day, right?
Yeah.
so I'm thinking we're gonna see a lot of people late next week when it finishes up. The music festival was great. It went very smoothly, and we did have people come in to either renew or register, and a lot of people just getting out of the sun, finding a comfy
Isn't
spot
that-
to sit.
After 2 years with
With rain,
inclement
yeah.
weather, a hurricane and all that, it's great.
Yeah. I did put an increase in for the electricity budget that is on the warrant. I know it was discussed at last night's, or Monday night's, was it Monday night's select board meeting? Yeah. So
Yeah.
they did discuss it. When I was looking at our overage of I calculated out the average of the last 3 bills that we had. So it's been over about $500. And if I kind of add that into what we spent last year, I think we're gonna run into about a $6,000 shortfall. I talked with Todd. He'd suggested putting in a bigger increase just to cover what we'll need and make the impact less for next year's budget process. But I kept it more towards the actual where I expect it to be in terms of an overage. So I'm not sure if it'll continue on in that article or if it'll get voted down. But
Well, I would think it's
So the
pretty
warrant's
obvious
been,
we need it.
I think they voted on the articles though, so I
the
think it's
warrant has been published, yeah.
yeah. But it's just hopefully, I'd like to work on an LED project, get the lighting done, and maybe use some sort of grant funds for that. I know that was brought up as well at the select board meeting, doing green communities grants and projects, and maybe including us. But that would be nice, so we could get the lighting done that way, and
Yeah.
that might help with some of the electricity usage. And I just wanted to mention so that everybody who watches the meeting will know we have COVID tests again from the health department, and we're giving out 2 boxes per household, and we'll have them till we run out. The Friends of the Library met on October 7th to prepare for the holiday activities, so they will be doing the open house again on the first Saturday in December, and then also for the New Year's Eve that will be happening. And they are planning to bring in samples of food for the tea fundraiser. The next meeting is Monday, November 4th at 6 p.m. And for the gallery, the Oak Point Art Association's mixed media exhibit is still popular. We have folks wandering in just about every day. They did try to come in early voting, so that was unfortunate. But the exhibit will come down at the beginning of next month, I believe November 2nd, and then Jen Egan is scheduled to go up on Monday, November 4th. That's it.
Okay, all right, now, the policy list review, we are discussing filming and photography, and we'll get to the next policy after that.
So I know we talked about adding the First Amendment auditors, and then I thought we said we weren't going to add any language about that, so I didn't change it from the last time. But I'm happy to make any revisions if anybody feels there needs to be revisions of this one.
It's such a gray zone, this photographing with permission of parents. I mean, if you just come in and take a picture of the building, but you capture a child who's outside,
It depends on how you're gonna use it too.
but
Whether-
for your own use, that's
Mm.
okay, so.
I believe we did put in to notify staff if you don't want to be included in photographs. With cameras on phones now, it's just so ubiquitous. You really can't stop everybody from taking a
Right.
photo or a video
Yeah.
for their own personal use to show their family.
All cell
or-
phones go here. No, because they're gonna take, if it's parents or grandparents in this children's program, they wanna take a picture of their child engaged, or even if they're volunteered to do something with the presenter, so.
Okay.
And I think being a public space, it's not something we can easily regulate.
No, but if there are people who definitely don't want their image recorded for whatever the reasons are, and then I think most of people like that have that issue want to be able to inform somebody that they,
Right.
and so they have a sensitivity towards it, where other people are sort of laissez-faire. But, yeah, so you have to
Yeah.
respect that.
I think we can
I
certainly
think this
make an
does,
announcement.
I think this coverage, basically it says you have to notify a staff member if you don't want to be included, and there's ways of doing that. You can turn your back, they can shoot from a different direction.
You can tell them
Yeah,
not
and
to
we can
Yeah.
announce at a program too, like,
Right,
please don't take pictures of everybody in the room.
right.
You know, make sure it's your own child that you're capturing and not somebody else.
Yeah.
And I think we have enough leverage here. We're talking about disruption. This is supposed to be discreet, quiet. It's not supposed to be like bonanza here. And the health and safety of patrons or staffs,
Mm-hmm.
or the ordinances or the state federal laws. Yeah. So I think we're in a good place now with this.
Okay. If
I
everybody's
move that we
set.
approve the filming and photography policy dated September 2024.
Second.
Second, all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and I thought this one would be easy, the unattended children policy. And then I had staff comments on it, and it was not easy.
All unattended children will be eaten.
Yes.
Or given a puppy and a free espresso.
That's
Okay.
And that's what the sign says. Although I have to give a shout out to the Wareham Public Library because of the line in the policy statement: for the purposes of this library, the unintended child refers to a child in the library alone or a child whose parent or caregiver is in the library but not adequately supervising that child.
Oh,
That
yes,
was
that-
a good phrasing. I appreciate that. Cindy found that and made sure that we included that because we do have quite a problem with inadequate supervision
Yes.
during programs and things. So,
Yes.
so yeah, all of the changes again are in yellow. Excuse me, but I did rework from the original. Kind of reworked it into the format that we've been using. So a policy statement and then some headers to kind of organize the information in a better way. So we go from responsibility and defining what, the responsibilities of the parents are, which is pretty much everything. And then talking about transportation, basically that we are not involved in transporting them anywhere. Emergencies, and then what to do at closing.
So the yellow is the additions?
Additions or changes, yes. And some of them I did a couple strike-throughs just to make it so that it's all library resources rather than just electronic.
Right. The only question I have, and it's not really a huge deal, but it's under responsibility for unattended children.
Mm-hmm.
You have caregiver who is over the age of 16. Is it 16 or 18? Does it matter? I mean,
Well, I was
again,
thinking
not a
about
huge.
babysitters who may be able to drive.
16-year-olds drive?
16 and a half can. I think that's when you can get your
Do they have to
But
rate,
they-
like,
they
they
can
can only
only-
have family members?
Yeah.
in the
family
car?
members, so siblings.
Siblings.
I'm just thinking like an 18 or 16-year-old can't come in, I don't think, and get a library card, can they? 'Cause they
No,
need a
I think
parent
they
or
need a
guardian signature.
Yeah. So,
Again, I see where it's coming from though, the 16, so I'm just wondering.
would we prefer to put 18?
Is that considered legal age or?
Yeah.
Do we need to vote on it?
I figured vote next month.
Okay.
Give it some time to mull and contemplate. Another argument maybe for a 16-year-old is maybe they get dropped off by the parent and the 16-year-old is watching the sibling.
Yeah, like I said, this is not I just didn't know.
I think a 16-year-old is of a sufficient age to keep up with a younger child, whether it's their sibling or they're babysitting. But are they old enough to be responsible if the library is closed for some reason? Or if there's a...
Well, hopefully they have a cell phone and they could contact somebody
Yeah.
who could come and provide
I'm looking
transportation.
more at like the extreme worst case scenario that probably would not happen, but my luck it would.
Knock on wood.
And I'm just wondering, can we really enforce a 16-year-old?
Mm.
What happens if we have someone who is chronically not cooperative in regard to this policy?
Their feed
We have a
espresso and a cookie.
Huh?
Yeah.
They give 2 espressos.
I think we'd have to treat it like anybody else who's violating library rules. It's just you are then asked to not come back.
I know
We're
that we
told to
have
not come back.
banned, over the years, that we've had very few people that we've had to ban, but we have people who have just refused to.
And that might be a
Like-
ban for like a year or a time period, 6 months.
Till you
That's it.
turn 18.
And it's gotta be, is it in writing, not oral? Do we do it?
Yeah, I would say if it's gotta be in writing to you violated.
Those are case by case, though.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing the work.
And then, yeah, I have to thank the staff too for their input. Everybody had some great ideas.
Okay.
Are the policies going up on the website at all?
They
or-
will eventually. What I'd like to do is to, the meeting room policy is already there. But I'd like to get legal counsel take on all of these before like putting them out there officially. But I wanted to get a collection first, so now we've got 5 or 6 done. I might send them over to see if legal counsel can check them out.
As a group.
And then if we need to make any changes, we can make changes to that batch and then go on to the next batch.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, we will bring this back up next month for a vote. On to old and new business. The memorial bricks. I will take care of that report. We have bricks that have disintegrated to the point of not being able to be read anymore.
The printing is what you're talking about,
Correct.
not the actual.
Not the actual brick, but the printing on the thing. Okay.
Berries.
Yes, I spoke to her. We have had a complaint by a patron whose brick is no longer legible. I spoke to her and told her we would be working on the project. I said, I don't know when your brick will be replaced, but it will be. So basically what I am planning to do is find the bricks that are truly illegible. Part of it is wear and tear, mostly when the acidic plants grew over them, but we also had at one point a printer or an engraver whose work was not weather ready, I
Sustainable.
guess. Yeah. So the ones we have now seem to be holding up.
Was there a problem with the size just recently?
Yes. Just recently, I had the most recent order, got the walkway pulled apart, found out that the bricks we had ordered were an inch longer than what we had. He was wonderful about redoing it and explained that he goes with ours. He usually works with red bricks. Our engraved bricks are gray, so he tries to find the right color first and just failed to make sure they were the right size. So he redid them. It was a small order. And they're in the walkway now. So the question is, do I just do the ones that are really, really bad? Or do we start over with a different process? The bricks in the Veterans Walkway are done, okay, ours are engraved and then paint is in the engraving. The ones over there are done with a newer process, which is engraved, and then there is a melted glass that's put in.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know
And actually, I'm not sure if it's the Veterans Walkway that has that, because
We're
they use
being
paved block as well.
that. We're installing them Thursday, if
Okay.
it doesn't rain, which I think it's not raining. so
Okay.
you have 3 new ones.
So anyway, the question is whether we want to consider starting over with the whole walkway. I think that's maybe a little beyond what our capabilities financially and just finding somebody to do the work are right now. The bricks cost roughly $22 a piece. They're $20 if you order over 300. So,
Oh, are you able to just do this new process of bricks, but starting with the bricks now and going
I would have to
forward?
find a new,
I mean, do
a
they
new
last longer
company.
or something, or?
So you're not
Well-
using the same company that the
I'm-
Poli uses?
that who.
Yeah, Preserve Our Lakeville Landmarks is the one that does.
No, actually, I am using the same company,
Okay.
and so that theirs are not the glass
glass
process.
ones,
I'd
okay.
have to find somebody who can do that process.
Oh.
Then, I thought ours had it, but it turns out they have engraved glass. Not.
But ours are
engraved.
working fine. It was
They
just
seem
that
to be
mostly
working
that bad
fine.
batch, and then the
The
ones
bad
that were
batch.
near the vegetation. That
Right.
vegetation's going to do
So-
that anyway. So it would seem to
I
me
would
just replace.
Just
Yeah,
replace
the ones
those.
that are very, very faded, that's what you're talking
Right,
about, right?
right.
And because it's none of them are damaged other than that.
No, they're not damaged. They're just weathered out.
Okay, so
You know.
I think that, but we probably need to have a policy about, what is the longevity on these things?
There is no
No way of knowing.
way of knowing that.
How about the COA? Do they have any issues with theirs? Because they have also the same thing.
I don't know, and maybe that's where I'm thinking of the other process. So I'll go over there and see what they've got.
I think that if you have a few that need to be done because they're just not read, you can't read them, then they need to be done.
Yes.
Now, the question
Okay.
is what process would be the best thing to do, whether it be just what we currently have and make sure that the vegetation doesn't overgrow them. Because the ones out, did we have a problem with de-icer or something like that too, affecting anything?
I don't remember
Okay.
that. That may have been when Betsy was still doing them.
I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
More investigation?
Well, the salt would certainly corrode anything. I don't care what process we use at
yeah,
that
but
point.
these are like up against the
The
edge.
edge.
Yeah, no, those.
Yeah,
I would say
so-
just replace those.
Just replace those.
And then, as Nancy's saying, we just either need to make sure, because the other ones aren't deteriorating that much, and they've certainly experienced the same weather.
Right.
You would have thought overshadowing would have saved them instead of corroding.
Yeah. Well, live and learn, I guess. Okay, so
So you think a half dozen or so? Or
no,
more?
I'm thinking probably more like 20 to 30.
Oh, that many.
It,
All the ones on
would
the
you
inner
agree?
line?
Probably,
so
at
it's
least.
the ones that are in the
On the
spot
edges?
here where the curve is,
Okay.
right across.
Yeah, those are probably from the order that was, it was an engraver in Connecticut.
It's out of business, right?
It's out of business. Thank goodness. Yeah, they took care of that for us before we lost more bricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Okay, so I think that we should go ahead with, I move if you want a motion, or do you want to get more information before?
I'm happy with this plan.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
move that we replace the number of bricks that have faded to the point where they're hard to read and replace them with newer bricks at your discretion.
Thank you.
And not
Second.
put a number on it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. What I plan to do is notify the people whose bricks are going to be replaced. Tell them it's at no charge. However, if they would like to make a donation, the library is always available. However, but offer them the option of changing what's on the brick
Oh,
if they'd like
before.
to, because some people have put their first grandchild, now have 3.
So, is there a record of the bricks? I'm
yes.
thinking
There's
more.
a map and everything.
Well, I'm just thinking more like what you were saying, as far as what would be I mean, nature will win out over time anyways. Should there be a policy on replacement I'm thinking, okay, we always want them to look good, but 20 years from now, if they've faded or whatever, are we replacing? Do we say we'll only replace bricks if they're X number of years old, unless they've become a
That'd be
hazard or
interesting
something?
to see
I don't know
if
what the
other
rules would be with that.
public sites have a policy like that.
'Cause I'm not-
Libraries or.
Well, I'm just wondering too, like, I'm not disputing, like, I know
No.
these are really faded, but I'm thinking, I don't know, I bought a brick a year ago and I just don't, it's got a crack, or not a crack, I don't know, it's just the slight little
Yeah.
thing, but it's really not that bad, but I want you to replace it. I mean,
Oh,
how do we
I'm not-
decide?
I don't know. I think if we have that kind of concern, we do have to have a policy.
It would need to be at the discretion of the library
Library,
trustees.
yeah.
Yeah, and the
Just
other
don't
thing
know how
is
those
that
programs
most of,
usually work.
I don't think that you would reject a brick that was cracked.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that was a
So that-
poor
nothing will
example.
go into
That
the
might
That
ground.
was a
It's not
poor
perfect.
example, but
But if suppose some damage had happened, if damage happened to a brick, then we would want it to replace it, because you
Well-
don't want it to fracture anymore.
Well, I'll tell you when
Safety
damage
issue.
happens, is somebody has their family brick and they have additions to the family and they want it with their other family brick. Pulling out the bricks at that point can damage them. So whenever that happens, I notify the people and I say, I will put this in. However, there is danger of damage to your family brick or other people's bricks around that. If you agree that you will replace those bricks at cost, not at the $75 donation, then I'll put it in. If you won't agree to it, then we'll put it in wherever we're putting in bricks. Because it's a real pain to have to set a brick in.
I guess I'm just
But
thinking more.
Groupings are the most difficult because some of them were added after the fact, and so
Yeah.
it's almost 20 years.
Yeah.
It will be 20 years. Well, no, it'll be less than 20 years, but a lot of settling has happened in 20
Yes,
years outside.
but it's still walkable.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
I mean, our bricks are the edges anyway, so I don't see any variation. I mean, if there's a 1/16 of an inch lip after I set a brick in, and I will not be setting in an order of 30 bricks, by the way. So these will be more expensive because of that purpose. When we order 4 bricks and they're all in one place, it's no problem to put them in. But anyway, that's just
Yeah, I was just curious.
Maybe find out if people have longevity clauses on.
yeah.
Because what ends up happening, and we have to start thinking about that, is that, there are years, certain buildings have been dedicated in communities in names of somebody, and then that is no longer a school or a town building, and it becomes a private thing, and there's all this question about what about naming, and it's very complicated when you think about it, and there will be people who do not know the people that the buildings were, or sites or places
Yeah.
were named in honor of. So, like, most of us know George Washington, but other than that, the public isn't probably aware of a lot of the other people that have been recognized. So I think that as time passes, it will become an issue. Streets get changed, names of streets and stuff like that, and people get really angry about it, especially if it was their family or something. So, thank you, Ruth.
You're welcome. All right, we have some reimbursement.
I do not have the documentation for the first one, which is the plants, that does come out of our capital. And
you
also, I
have-
noticed on the capital, we have a donation of $5,000 supposed to go to support the work at the new
Yes.
location of the.
5,000 out of capital and 5,000 out of gifts.
Yeah.
think
Right.
So,
And they're
but those
working on it
haven't
right
come
now.
out yet. And right now they're putting in I things
They
that
haven't
hold the
given me an
new
invoice to
canopy.
do anything with yet, so.
So eventually
But-
it'll get done.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we need to keep that in mind when looking at
Yeah.
our
I think we
amounts.
have more than 6,000 in
Yeah.
capital right now.
No, I think we
6,000
just have a little bit more than
6,795.50.
Yeah.
Oh, but $1,700,
Well, it's taken
$1,700.
us that long, this many years to get it down, because
Yeah.
we actually put in the, security system was one of the things that we paid for the, last of the archaeological dig. So there've been
And
a
the
lot
chairs
of
we're
things.
sitting in.
There's a lot of different things that we've, paid for, but I mean, after we opened the building. I do have the one for the,
Read it.
this is the plaquing. The Friends are separate, but we have a plaque for the naming of the gazebo, which is an interior plaque so that you can see it when you stand and look out towards the gazebo. And then we had a replacement of the, because Regina's name was spelled incorrectly, so we have that. So it's 69 for the indoor plaque and 29 for the small plaque, so it was $98.
Total?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Even.
I would, yeah, that's what I meant. So I will make a motion for reimbursement for Nancy for the $98 for the 2 plaques.
And I'll second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So
Okay.
where is that coming out of? Do you
So
wanna-
would you hold the other one on the agenda until the
Yeah.
next meeting?
So
Okay,
is this
thank you.
coming out of capital or gifts?
That comes out of gift, right?
No, it comes out of
Capital.
Capital.
The plaques do too?
Well, I think we've paid for them out of it because it was outside the budget line. We don't have a budget line for it.
No.
No.
So we might as well continue. We have
Yeah.
the money there, and it would be better to keep the budget.
So, okay.
Yeah, and by the way, I saw Jamie a few weeks ago, and I took the plaque with me. And so she has seen it, and I'll send her a picture once we get it
And
on
we
the
want to
wall.
put something up on the exterior.
I'd like to.
Under the roof where the opening is.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, after the painting's done.
Yeah.
So the motion will be from capital then.
Ours,
Okay.
not the town's,
Right.
our capital.
Our next item is discussion of Lake Camp.
Yes, so I talked to Jose briefly. He replaced some of the ceiling tiles, so I think some of the cool air may have been flowing into the attic. That might have caused some electrical increases. He thinks so. He replaced those. And then he is aware of the need to make the payments to the town, so he's going to bring that up. So he's working on a plan to have the board get caught up with the payments to the select board. And I believe he asked for a meeting with the select board.
This Lake Camp?
Yeah, Lake
So,
That's to be
Lake
upcoming.
Camp had agreed to make payments to the town because the Board of Selectmen asked them to. And then we initially had an agreement that they would support when they were here, and we still have their equipment and stuff, so that would be the second.
Yeah, so as far as I know, he's gonna try to catch up.
Okay.
And have them vote at the next board meeting to catch up. That's that for Lake Camp.
Okay, all right. Now, the next thing is the use of the meeting room by the
Yes.
Democratic Town Committee.
I was approached by a person who was interested in restarting. I'm not sure if they are sort of
Reorganizing?
yeah, it seems like they're reorganizing, and they asked if they could use the meeting room, and her interpretation of this line was that she could not. So in our meeting room policy, it says groups or promotional material endorsing specific political parties or candidates or representing the doctrines of a particular religious denomination are not allowed. However, I believe the Democratic and Republican town committees used to meet here.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, I think our policy was that it had to be even. If we let one group meet, then we had to let other groups meet. And we did have them coming in here and having meetings.
As far as I know, they're just business meetings. They're not.
Yeah,
you
they're
know,
not
there's
rallies
specific
or
rules
anything like
against.
But we have to realize that includes all
Any-
parties.
Any parties, yes.
Yeah.
So if the Nazi Party wants
Yes,
to meet
yes.
here,
We do.
Then they-
Everybody gets treated the same.
She was just questioning the language, so I wanted to bring it to you for your final interpretation of what.
I wouldn't see a problem with it.
I
They're a
don't see a
community,
problem.
they're a
Nonprofit
community
right?
group. And they're
Sanctioned
not,
by the town, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
No.
I think, no. They're
Well,
not
it's
anything to,
state.
they're parties, so they're not the town. They just have people that are, also do double duty because they work for different
You have
departments.
to run to get on the town committee, right? You have to take out papers and run to be on town committee? From what I was reading.
No, I
didn't know
think it
there
comes
was a
out of the
town committee.
National Republican Committee and the National Democratic
Yeah.
Committee. And then they go to the state, and then it goes to the towns or
but they
the
are
county and
open,
town.
but they are open to all
Yeah,
citizens and
Yeah.
whatnot.
yeah, they don't
so-
have a closed membership or anything like
Yeah,
Okay.
that.
so I think they,
One would assume that if you're a
Just trying to
Republican,
read.
you would not join the Democratic, but you know,
Right.
who
No, I
knows?
was trying to read what was on the clerk's website. Basically, she has some information about town committees and
Oh.
running
I
for.
didn't-
no, I think they do have to get, I mean, if I recall, I know in others,
Probably
they,
have
they
to
get
register
with the
elected
town
to
committee.
the, but they're not part of the town, but I mean, they're still open to all and.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think it's on the town, the voting, the poll, the election thing. It's separate, it's outside that. Whether they have to register, I don't know. The clerk.
A ward or town committee may elect no fewer than 3 members and no more than 35 members.
I think they call themselves the town
Committee.
committee because they mean the town of Lakeville,
Yeah, and
but
she,
not part of the town government.
Right,
Hmm.
right. But she said they were starting it, and the bylaws say they need a public meeting site.
Yeah,
And I think they have to go through a whole process of incorporating, so it's not going to be soon that they start meeting.
So what happened to the old town?
I don't know,
Okay.
but it sounded like they were trying to reorganize and
Hmm.
rewrite bylaws maybe.
Maybe.
But I don't know if it was just COVID threw everything for a loop and they stopped
that's
meeting
true.
and
Yeah.
now
everything.
they have to reorganize.
yeah, I still wouldn't see a problem with it.
Okay.
I mean, they meet within the general scope of the policies, they're open to all,
Open to all,
they're
yeah.
not a for-profit agency.
And they're not charging admission or anything like
Hmm.
that. And
It's
on
an
top
open
of that,
meeting.
we allow other groups of that same venue to do the same thing or
Yeah,
the same time.
so-
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they do.
Okay.
okay. All right, is there anything else in new business?
Yes!
Yes,
Yes,
Both-
we have.
We have, Susan Spieler has a project for raising money for the,
Animal shelter.
yes, animal shelter. I was
So
gonna
she
say.
has the Snow Person Jubilee. I just have her flyer here that I will send to you so you can print out to
Yeah,
have
that'd
with
be great.
meeting documents. But starting November 8th, purchase a Snow Person for $25. Create your design on the 31-inch, I can't read this, corrugated plastic template. Decorate, add a message, basically decorate a snowman, return them by November 30th, and all proceeds will benefit the Lakeville Animal Shelter. They'll be displayed at the Old Town Hall lawn from December 1st through 31st. There will be a party on December 14th at 2 p.m. to see the display, drink hot cocoa, have fun with family and friends.
Photo ops.
And photo ops, and winners will be announced for first, second, and third place, and then the various prices and whatnot. But she had called just before the meeting, and I guess she had talked to you as well, Nancy, as far as there's just some concern with placement of the snowmen and the stakes on the lawn of Old Town Hall where it has been redone, and it may not be ready if the weather gets wet. Hopefully. It will, because we're very dry.
There's been a lot of holes filled it too because of septic being put in and all
Yeah,
So everything will
they
not
may
be
be
grassed.
looking at, the only thing for the library needs would be, there would be placement of snowmen coming up on library property.
In the
Are
waterfall area.
Are the stakes
Now, you know, the political signs or
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
those
Okay.
little H signs?
All right, so we're
So
not
we're not
talking about
digging
something
holes.
that will
No, because
make a
they're,
hole in
31 inches,
the
so like,
It would
irrigation.
irrigate.
they're aware
Irrigate,
that we
not-
also have a sprinkler system too. But
Yeah.
it is more just, I guess she talked to DPW when she talked to me this morning, and there was just concern of what condition they just hydro seeded the lawn. Not sure if it'll take. If, as I said, the weather turns, it could get muddy over there because it's just dirt. So
It's
there
on the
is
hillside,
concern of
too.
it moving up. The selectmen did approve for the old town hall and whatnot on Monday night for her doing it. And, but there is just concern that they'd be moving
See,
up
there
here.
could be, between the granite and iron rod fence, there's spaces there that they could be lined up inside that, and that doesn't impact. It's the larger part of the lawn, the slopey lawn, because there was a very big hole there. So I think that if we had some along the waterfall or along
Yeah.
the
Now, we wouldn't, with open meeting, we would not be able to vote on this, but we can certainly, unless we had major issues with it, we can certainly just kind of gauge our temperature with this and then kind of reaffirm and do the vote next month on it.
So we need to talk about this so that they'll have a plan, but we do need to approve it
Well,
at our
won't they
next
need
meeting.
to know by the,
Well, that's
And
why
then
they have to get the
November.
temperature, because we don't meet till the fourth Thursday of the month, which would
Right.
be, although we'll have
That'll
to
be
change.
Thanksgiving,
November would be
though.
Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
so
yeah, I brought.
we won't be meeting that. Well, we could meet. Come on, bring a turkey. But
You
I
first.
I didn't see a major issue with it myself and her talking. It is just placement, not storing the things here.
Yeah, I
Um,
had concerns about it, especially since people are decorating it. And she said, "What about a corner of the gallery?" And I'm like, "Oh, little fingers will be touching." And
Yeah. Well, and you've got the
We have
gallery
another
has the whatever the display would
it
be in
has
for
an
December
exhibit, I
anyway.
don't want to
Yeah.
The
necessarily.
Historical Commission is usually very generous about allowing people to put things in certain spaces, and as a result, the only thing that happens is the Pontiac Boosters have their
Trees.
wreaths. They don't do trees anymore.
Okay.
Wreath sale, usually right after Thanksgiving. So that would be a thing. But now that we have a cement floor in the steamroller barn and have table and chairs in there, only thing that we have in there is the signage for Lakeville Arts and Music Festival. So I'm sure we could generously offer that space. So that will take a little pressure off the library. And
Well, they weren't. They've got storage already for these or
Oh,
for
they do?
collection. Yeah,
oh, okay.
they've already got a place for
How
collection.
long will they be on display?
The month of December.
Number.
And will they be safe from,
well, we do
Vandalism.
have security cameras outside.
Yeah.
Police
Snow
have
plows.
access to.
snow plows? I'm just thinking,
They're going to be in the lawn area, which will not be mowed
right,
Yeah.
at this point. So
yeah, I don't have any problem with it, I just,
Do you want to offer out back of the library as well to?
No, I
sort
don't
of
think so.
prevent-
No,
no,
no, the
Yeah.
idea.
they're
of
just
what-
looking more. It's
they want
it's,
people to see it. And
it's
have-
over there, and
Do you know
it's
what
it's
the
more
base
of
looks
the
like?
they come up the lawn basically from the old town hall.
Do you know what the base, the template looks like? No.
There's no.
It's a snowman cutout.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, is it this tall, is it this tall?
No.
or-
31 inches.
31 inches,
Okay.
so it's just
31
like just
inches.
under a yard,
Yeah,
Corrugated plastic. I mean, we're not talking
White.
anything.
probably.
Yeah.
Like,
Add a message of kindness or holiday wish on the back. It sounds neat.
Yeah,
And I know she's already been in touch with the animal shelter too, and he's all
I believe this is some project that they've done in another town.
Middleborough.
Middleborough,
Middleborough
yeah.
did it last year.
So maybe there's some examples floating around online
Okay,
on the
yeah.
Facebook page somewhere. So when was the Cocoa again?
December 14th.
December 14th. Okay.
But again, it looks like they're using the old town hall for that. I mean, there's nothing here that they're
I
looking
don't
to
know.
use.
Yeah.
It's just more
Okay.
It'd be
that
more
they
th-
may be posting on
It'd
on
be
the
more
property.
the grounds not being stomped on. By then it might be frozen anyway. So
Well, I did offer that she could have the pickup here for people to pick up their
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, that was nice.
She asked, could we be the meeting location for people to come and pick it up? I said, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since we can't
But
do the
I don't-
storage.
I would not have
I
a
would
problem
say the
with it.
consensus
Oh, I
is that we will
think it's
vote on it
great.
at the next meeting, however,
Okay.
that we don't see any big problems
Yeah.
with it. Bigger problems are over where there's no lawn on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I will let her know on that.
Okay. Well, that's lovely. All right.
I have some new business.
More new business.
Yes. I was contacted by a teacher who works with special needs students who are 18 plus with the Freetown Lakeville School District. She wanted to know if there were any volunteer opportunities within the town, so we got it forwarded from Town Hall, her request. She's looking to get them out to do different tasks for work experience. So this is the transition program. So she told me that there are 5 students who would be coming. They have various abilities. There would be as well as 2 paraprofessionals and a nurse coming in. Some of them do have intellectual disabilities and some of them are more high functioning. So I talked to Teresa and we do have some projects that they can do. The teacher did mention that she would send the schedule 2 months ahead of time so we'd know, because she wants to do a weekly volunteering thing. I asked Tracy if they would need to be quarried because they are 18 plus and she said yes. The teacher said they have been quarried for past work experiences, so it would be fine, but I just wanted to run it by you to see if you would
We've
be
had
okay with.
Groups that came in and dusted and stuff like that,
Yeah.
so over the years, so I think we have a past practice
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
My only thing would be as long as it's you and Teresa are
Yeah.
good with it.
Might be. I'm not sure how many projects we have, so we'll
Yeah.
have to talk
Yeah.
about what things, maybe straightening the shelves and light dusting and things like that. So.
We've done that, and we get the same, not the same group, but we get a group like that too, and that's pretty much what we have them do.
Okay.
And it benefits them and it benefits us, so
Yeah.
it's very nice.
And then I just wanted to update everybody on the legislative breakfast. I am still co-chair of the Sales Legislative
Yes, you
Breakfast
are.
Committee. And so the legislative breakfast is scheduled for March 7th. It's a Friday, 2025, with a snow date of March 14th. And it will be held at the Norfolk Public Library.
Perfect.
So we'll be sending out save the dates next month and working on our task list.
Great.
And also
Congratulations on your appointment.
I don't think I can escape that committee now.
Nope.
And I also signed up for the Live Learn X that I had emailed about, so that's awesome. I have my flight and my hotel and everything booked.
And that's when.
That is January 24th. It's over a weekend. So January 24th, and I'll come back on January 29th. So I have a big program on the 23rd. Anya Minogue is supposed to
Nice.
come on January 23rd. So I couldn't fly out January 23rd.
I would still say, I mean, I know it's not what you were looking for, but, I mean, I certainly, if it's something that we have funding for,
Yeah.
to pay for the registration for your
Yes.
Like
program.
out of state aid or something?
I don't know where, I mean, I know in my
might not have
budget
money.
I don't have anything, but I do always feel that if an employee or staff is going to something library related, that if we can
It
do
was-
something for you on that, or for any staff member, I mean, as an education,
Well, don't we
whether
have-
it be
we
a
have
partial registration for Live Learn
Education
or.
one. Do
We
have an
do
education?
have a dues
education
and
stipend.
subscription line. The education stipend is paid out to staff based on
Okay.
their contract.
Okay.
So that's not something we technically have in a line. That's paid out based on their
It's more going
educational
for
levels.
education, yeah.
Continuing education.
So I think
Fine
we
with it
paid
coming out of state
Teresa's,
aid.
she's going next month to that leadership. I think we paid that out of state aid.
Okay, so
I-
I
Yeah.
think that we would
Yeah.
probably pay it out of state aid too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do
It
we
was-
need a vote on that?
395, I have the info here.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't usually, I'm fine. Normally it was, you'd pay after
Yeah, submit.
she's done it and all
Yeah.
that, you know, if this, or
So
if
that
she
they
just.
would come on the next,
February meeting?
well, it would be 2025, right?
Yeah.
Both of them, 2020, so they would come up in January, maybe?
After your 30-minute PowerPoint presentation of what you sunsets in Sedona, whatever.
The one for Teresa was already approved.
Yeah, that was
Right.
approved already.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with doing it, but we
Or
wouldn't
we could do it in
reimburse till
December.
after.
I mean, we
but-
could- It doesn't matter when we do it, we just would be doing it.
Yeah,
But
I'm
we'd
fine
need to
with
be on the
February for
agenda.
You can
it
vote,
to be
yeah.
reimbursement.
That's
That's
fine.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, do we need a vote on that?
We can't vote on it because it's a financial thing and it's not listed in the agenda. So we
Agenda,
have to
yeah.
do it
Well,
on the
we will
next
I
put
think-
that on the next agenda.
For January.
January.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else in old or new business?
So we just have a couple of things to carry into the
Yeah, we've
November
got your
agenda.
plants, and then I wrote down the snowmen, so I'll make sure that gets added.
Hmm.
I'll do that today. I'll just start the draft.
Next. All right. So our next meeting time will be adjusted because of Thanksgiving. Thank you, Mr. Lincoln.
So it'd be the week earlier?
Oh, well, we could do, I mean, the 27th if you wanted to. That's the day before Thanksgiving. It's a Wednesday.
We're normally closed.
Yeah,
Yeah, we are. That's
We are
fine.
close.
I have to work that
Jennifer
morning
doesn't
anyways.
mind coming.
I
Um,
don't care.
week
I'll
earlier
drink coffee
Then
and
the 28th?
I have a sales board meeting at 10 o'clock
On the 20th?
on the 20th, so if you want to meet a little earlier, or I'd be ducking out at 5 minutes to 10.
like an 8:30 meeting. We did that
Would
one
8:30
time.
be early enough?
It's fine by me,
What time?
I'm only
I mean,
going
would
up the
8
street.
be
so-
better?
No, 8:30.
We're just over an hour now, so.
Okay.
8:30
Okay.
on
The
November?
20th? Are you going to the office?
I'm just going to the office, yeah,
Okay.
so not a big deal.
November date? What is the date?
November 20th.
20th?
Yeah,
It's a
Okay.
Wednesday, right?
I
yeah.
will
Our
definitely
next-
I don't
start
have
the
my
draft of
calendar
the
with me.
agenda now.
Our next meeting will be at 8:30 a.m. on November
8:30 a.m.,
20th.
John.
You good with that? Okay.
I mean, unless you want to do an evening that week or something, but I mean,
Yeah.
8:30 works fine.
Unless
sounds
there is
good.
further discussion, I will
I move.
entertain a motion. Yeah, okay.
Second.
All right, a
Aye.
motion has been made and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I already,
Thank you,
Aye.
John.
Already aye.